3 cases of rape and molestation against foreign women in just 15 days have not just dented India's image but also raised several big questions. Should the government spend more on ensuring security for foreign tourists than on ad campaigns? Has the anti-rape law totally failed to be a deterrent? Is there a case for trying cases of rapes and assault against foreigners in fast-track courts also a possibility? Joining me this evening, Kavita Srivastava, General Secretary, People's Union of Civil Liberties, will be joining me in just a bit. Nagma, well-known actor, and Manoj Gursahani, Chairman of Bollywood Tourism and Travel Mart India, joins me from Mumbai. Let me start with you, Nagma. The question being asked is that we look at foreigners coming into this country. As somebody living in this country who moves around, who travels, do you feel that their fear of coming into India is justified?
The deterrent of, the laws that have been made apparently have not helped in curbing the incidences that have happened, and it's a very sorry state, extremely, very sad and extremely painful to hear, especially in those cases where women come from abroad just for touring. So I know it's a bizarre suggestion, but I still think in very challenging and trying times like this, I would clearly suggest that women coming from abroad, especially those who are fair-skinned, I mean, it's very sad, but that's the mentality of Indian women, men, that, even in matrimonial columns, whenever they write the matrimonial columns, they advertise and say that they want fair-skinned women. So I think, that's their attack, that's their prey. And so I would really, suggest at times like these that
are you trying to suggest
tourism and especially women?
Nagma, are you trying to suggest that it's not just about security, it's not just about our law and order agencies to be proactive to make sure that there are enough checks and balances in place, it's also about the mindset?
Very true. It's totally about the mindset. But till the time we do something about all this, I think that moral education is very, very important in the curriculum, and all that is going to take some time. So till that happens, we should tell these tourists who are coming here, warn them that they shouldn't be venturing out in the night alone or going out to the pubs. I know it's a very sorry and it's a very bizarre thing to say, but looking at things the way things are happening these days, I think that this is very important. But yes, of course, it is the mindset, and the mindset really needs to be worked upon, because all these unemployed youths earlier,
right,
they used to get along with all these criminals, and they used to do such crimes. But nowadays you see all the affluent family and guys, youths also from good backgrounds, educated, even they are into such heinous crimes. So it's a very sorry state of situation. So I really think that it is absolutely something about the mindset, and something needs to be done about that. And I think that moral education is very, very important in this respect, because it's the question of our country's reputation also.
Manoj Gursahani, I want to come to you at this point. You look at the travel industry very closely. Do you think, because of the kind of incidents that have come forth, the tainted security track record that we have, has it affected numbers, tourist numbers coming into the country?
Yes, Maruk, I definitely feel it's affected. In terms of the drop since the last 2 years, there has been a 35% drop as far as the incoming numbers are concerned, and I definitely feel the image is not good if it's reported by various newspapers internationally, and nowadays with social media things go on in a viral way. So I think definitely with the perception and if way things going on, it's going to be definitely affecting tourism in a big way as far as inbound tourism to India is concerned.
But Manoj, what do you suggest should be done? Is it like Nagma is saying about mindsets? Is it about not enough security checks in place? Is it about an apathetic law and order system?
Well, combination of all factors, like Nagma mentioned. Definitely it's a perception angle. So one of the aspects one should do is, like we had this Incredible India campaign where Amir Khan had rightly featured various aspects. I think this aspect also should be highly featured, because especially among the lower strata of society, star power is usually conveyed in a more effective manner. So I think Incredible India and the Ministry of Tourism should step up these kind of campaigns, and I think with that it has to percolate down, and which kind of awareness, I think that probably would help to some extent in curbing that.
Kavita Srivastava, General Secretary of the People's Union of Civil Liberties, also joins us. Kavita Srivastava, do you think that this fear that foreigners have increasingly with the number of incidents that we see is largely because of mindsets, or is it more because there is not enough safety in place?
See, I think increasingly Indian cities and Indian roads are becoming very, very unsafe. So there is a reality that women are being lynched, women are being raped, there's a lot of sexual violence, so you cannot deny that. And I mean, of course, it is a structural issue, it's definitely a structural issue, but I just think that it's too serious an issue to not be sort of at the core of all governments that are in power. It has to be at the core, and governments have to begin this dialogue at a societal level, which also, this dialogue also needs to go home. We need to work with men.
But do you think,
to our men?
Do you think that the anti-rape law, which has been spoken about at length, which the politicians have kind of claimed as a victory against this menace in society, do you think that has failed to be a deterrent?
No. See, there are two, three things. It's too early to say that it is a deterrent. But law is not enough. That is what we said from day one. Law addressing the dimension of amendments in the law is only one part, and that mechanism has come into place. Till now, your police has not been trained. Till now, your standing operation procedures have not come into place. Even at the Thana level, they don't know that they need to apply these sections. And of all the people, at the level of society, also people don't know that if there are irregularities committed by police and other officials, they can actually file FIRs against them under section 166A. So the awareness is limited at the moment, and it's going to take time. But merely enhancing punishments or getting in new definitions is important, but it's not enough. I think what happened yesterday, and which is recurring all the time, it happened somewhere near New Delhi railway stations, shows the kind of brutalization that is happening in our society, shows the kind of aggression on the streets that there's no restraint. You just sign somebody alone. No, but I'm 51. I can feel what happened to that woman. Even I step off railway stations and buses at the middle of the night.
No, but are you saying...
At no age am I safe.
No, but are you saying it is the same kind of concern for a local person as it is for a foreigner, or are foreigners easy targets?
See, I think they would make, a foreigner is a more vulnerable target, definitely. A foreigner is a vulnerable target, and just like younger girls are vulnerable targets, in situations, of back alleys and all, there is a situation where people there would be vulnerable. So there are situations of vulnerability.
Right.
But I think, I'm really upset by this particular incident, because this woman came on a holiday. She goes back violated. Her entire bodily integrity is kind of torn. What does she go back with? It's so disturbing, So I think Aam Aadmi Party has come to Delhi, and they came with an agenda. They came that they're going to foreground this issue, they're going to do something about it. I think it's time something began, at least for the city of Delhi. What is the nature of governance? How are you going to do a kind of reform? How are you going to address this issue of masculinity?
Right. Let me bring in Manoj Gursani as well. When tourists come into the country and you have interaction with a lot of them, are there any special, is there an advice or an advisory that you give out to them? Is that in place also? Or are there any fears that they exhibit when they come in, especially when they travel alone?
Well, Maruk, to be very honest, I would like to give the credit first to Incredible India campaign and the Ministry of Tourism, that they have made a lot of measures and they put up in websites, and there are various tourism bodies, including one which is IOTO, which is Indian Tour Operators Association, and all of them actually do a lot of work through the respective channels to communicate the message. However, I feel as this doesn't seem to be sufficient, what we need to do also is have tourism police. Some states like Goa have and Rajasthan have tourism police. Probably we have to go about having tourism police in various other places. And I feel the single most point is creating awareness with the taxi driver and the bus driver, educating them, because they are the clear ambassadors at the touch points, and various other touch points needs to be covered and factored. And I think if that's done, along with thing that there is a toll-free number given where a tourist can call, and those kind of aspects, I think, along. So it's a concerted effort with all the tourism bodies and the Ministry of Tourism, which we need to step up that activity, which obviously seems there is not enough being done.